State if Mullen leave and go to Florida. So I'll put that in that ranking. My wild card would definitely be the University of Arkansas and Brett Bielema, who haven't won nothing. I'm looking at Bielema, and Bielema, who has 3 Big Ten titles back in 2010 to 2012. His best record as a coach in general came at 12-1 in 2006. They won the Capital One Bowl. All right. His second best record as Wisconsin came at 11-2, lost in the Rose Bowl. Third, 11-3, lost in the Rose Bowl. And fourth would be 9-4, lost in the Outback Bowl. Fifth would be 8-5, lost in the Rose Bowl. You get what I'm going with this, guys? Brett Bielema haven't won nothing as a coach at all. And I'm not trying to down Brett Bielema. I think he's a great offensive line coach. You know, I think he get the beef to get up front, man. He loves his offensive line, man. I got to give him that. Arkansas right now is ranked 27 in the country when it comes down to recruiting this upcoming season. Yikes. Overall, in the last couple of years, they've been ranked in the teens as an average. Looking what Bielema did since he took over in 2013, he's 3-9. The first year, he went 0-8 in conference play. He went 7-6. The following year, he went 2-6 in conference play. The following year, he went 8-5, 5-3 in conference play. That was his best conference play opponent. I think right there, Arkansas fans thought they were about to start turning over. The following year, they went 7-6. They lost. They was 3-5 in conference play. And this year, starting off, they're 4-6. And they are 1-5 in conference play. How much longer would the Arkansas Razorbacks continue to live with this mediocrity? Because let's remember something. A few years ago, back when LSU was making their national title run, 2011, Arkansas was ranked the number 3 team in the country. And they had a potential visit when they went down to Death Valley. They had a potential visit to go on to the SEC championship game if they won that game. Now, granted, that game was nowhere close. LSU beat the brakes out of Arkansas that day. But that's how far ago a memory of Arkansas really being elite to a certain level. So I say it like this. How much longer are we going to continue to give this man a pass? Because overall, as a coach at Arkansas, he is 29-32, and he's 11-27 in conference. How much longer are we going to give this young man a pass? Because even at Wisconsin, he won nothing besides Big Ten titles. He never won a Rose Bowl. He won the Champ Sports Bowl. He won the Capital One Bowl. That's probably the best bowl he won was the Capital One. In Arkansas in 2014, he won the Texas Bowl. In 2015, he won the Liberty Bowl. Come on, man. We need some brand name bowls. You know, I can't take this no more, bro. I honest to God can't take this no more. I think Arkansas is on the verge because when you look at it, you give away Jim McElwain. McElwain is no longer the head coach at Florida, and he brought his team to the SEC championship game back-to-back years. You're also looking at Butch Jones, who had great recruiting classes, and he still couldn't get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Summerlin went down to Alabama, beat Alabama, and haven't been nothing much ever since. Gus Malzahn, who's been on the hot seat year in and year out, always find ways to give his team a chance to at least get talked about in national title contentions. So that leads me to my next question. Talking about the SEC in general. Has the SEC as a culture in football been passed by when it comes to the game of football? Because when we talk about coaches in the SEC, who's the second best coach behind Saban? It could be a toss-up. You could say Malzahn, because Malzahn, he has these Auburn teams over the years and just always find a way to fight and compete. But they up and down. They're not as consistent as Alabama. You could say Gus. Could it be Gus? You know, you can't say Kevin Summerlin because remember, A&M and Missouri came in at the same time, and Missouri won the SEC twice, East twice. Now, I know the West is harder than the East, but at the end of the day, we playing football over there. They fighting for a chance to go play for a championship somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Gotta give credit when credit is due. Now I know Missouri is down now, but A&M haven't beat their rival yet in LSU yet. All right. McElwain's gone. Butch Jones gone. Kevin Sumlin's gonna be out of here. Gus Malzahn will probably be second behind Saban. Who would be third? You see, I'm sitting here. You know what I'm saying? Dan Mullen would be third to me. Because you look at the success that Dan Mullen has really brought a great attitude to the team of Mississippi State. Mississippi State wasn't much of nothing for years. And Mullen really got some great players at Mississippi State playing hard. That's why I think he'll be a good coach at Florida. Once he get the talent and really playing hard, oh yeah, Florida going to be something unstoppable playing with Georgia. Who will be fourth? Orgeron? Possibly. You know, when we look at some of these programs and where they were at maybe about 5, 6, 7 years ago, when you had at least about 6 or 7 teams all ranked in the top 25, and maybe you had at least a good solid 5 ranked at the top 15, and you had at least a good solid 3 ranked in the top 10, and you know you probably had at least solid 2 ranked in the top 5, it has decreased a lot. You know, I was watching the Alabama game, and I'm going to wrap this up with them and get on to the NFL. Alabama was playing at the end of that game off of pure 5-star talent. And I'm going to tell you why. When Alabama was forcing their will against Mississippi State, running them outside zone plays, running to the edge, and when they were just setting the edge, that's purely 5-star talent. We are better than you. We got to remember who we are. We was recruited higher than them other boys across on us on defense. We are better than you. That's all that was a statement. I'm better than you, and I know I'm better than you. I'm about to beat the heck out you, and we about to win this ball game. Calvin Ridley, to me, is a mixture of T.Y. Hilton and Antonio Brown. Calvin Ridley must be the most probably dynamic receiver since Amari Cooper. He catches the ball, and he catches the ball yards after catch. He makes people miss. That's why I like watching about Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley really get the job done when it's time. That's the D1 talent. That's the 5-star, 4-star talent starting to kick in. We know we better than you. We playing around. Now it's time for us to handle up. When how that drive just showed, we know we better than Mississippi State. We've been playing around this whole game. It's time to put these Negroes away and let's win this game. Let's get back out of here and stay in contention for the national title. That's all that was at the end of that ball game. I'm telling you. So I'm going to ask this even about Bama. To a certain degree, when you look back at Lane Kiffin, and I know a lot of people at Alabama don't like to talk about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin had Blake Sims as the quarterback a couple of years ago. And then he had Jacob Croker, who remember Croker backed up Jameis Winston at Florida State. And now he got Jalen Hurts. To me, out the best of them names I just named, you know, Lane Kiffin not there no more, but he did work with Jalen Hurts. Jacob Croker was probably the better one out the two I'm naming, okay? Now, this one I got to say about this. Lane Kiffin really coached them boys up. He made it easier for them. He made the offense very, very, very manageable for them, especially with Blake Sims. Blake Sims was just an average, okay quarterback. But he put Sims in the right position to win ball games for Alabama. Brought them all the way to the semifinals. They lost to Ohio State. Eventually, Ohio State went on to win the national championship. I'm cool with that. But have Alabama, because for years and years and years, it's been more about coaching, doing things the right way than talent. The talent part was really, sometimes, it was only necessary at certain times. But let's look at this for right quick, and I'm moving on. Has Alabama letting talent take over coaching? I don't find Alabama right now, when they need to play their best football, is not playing their best football at this moment. In my opinion, they're not. You hear what I'm saying? I think to a certain degree, because when you go look when they get outside the SEC and they go play somebody else outside the conference, they have trouble. They're not as dominant. The last time you see Alabama dominate a national championship game was Notre Dame. And that was pure coaching. That was coaching out of this world. That was coaching. They was prepared. When they played LSU, that's an in-conference opponent. That was coaching. Doing your job the right way. And yes, they had a lot of talented players on that defense, but the culture and the coaching was there. Like now I feel like a lot of people don't fear that no more. Like a lot of people don't fear Nick Saban and his theories. It's just like we just got to beat the talent part, but we got to play harder than what the talent is. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Will it get exposed soon? We gonna see. But has coaching passed the SEC by? Because let's remember, a few years ago, you just needed a mediocre quarterback to line up under center and pass it off to great running backs. Let's think about great running backs that came out the SEC. Todd Gurley, Mark Ingram, Eddie Lacy, Leonard Fournette. Guys of that matter. Jeremy Hill, who's all in the NFL. I know I'm leaving out a lot of guys. But how many dynamic quarterbacks has came out of the SEC and making great NFL careers? Don't name it people like Eli Manning and Peyton Manning and Prescott went in the fourth round. And granted, his numbers are very, very well, and he's a Pro Bowl Rookie of the Year quarterback. So I give shout out to Dak Prescott. But other than that, from the big name schools like LSU, Alabama, A&M, who has came out? Nobody, not a soul. Nobody's going in the top 5 in the draft and say I'm going to get a quarterback out the SEC. It's just not happening. Has the culture has passed this conference by? Because football is changing. To me, the Big Ten is where it's at. That's the conference that should have a network right now. And I'm going to just leave it at that. You can even say the ACC if the U make their return. I'll definitely say Florida State going to come back next year. I definitely see Clemson still making a run next year. Hell, NC State get a little better because they've been beating some people. They're going to have a chance next year maybe. Then you throw in Syracuse. Syracuse came in and fight with a lot of people. You never know. I'm not saying that that's going to be the dominant conference, but football is changing. It's no longer about the SEC no more. There's too many vacant jobs. And we're going to move on from there because I can sit on this subject all day. Tomorrow, there will be Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans. Playoff implication game is on the line as the Pittsburgh Steelers will play at home tomorrow against the Tennessee Titans. Looking at the playoffs going forward as we speak, Pittsburgh is the number 1 ranked team in the AFC. Tennessee is ranked 4th in the AFC, right in front of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Big game for both clubs on tomorrow. I got Pittsburgh potentially winning this game. Tennessee play a little up and down that time. I think they are one of the teams to look out for in the near future. I think they make the playoffs this year. Probably be a wild card team. First round, get out of here. But confidence is getting restored back in Tennessee, who's been out the playoffs for the last, I think, about 7, 8 years. So it's good to see the Tennessee Titans back in the playoff system again. Also, looking at it out, I'm very, very impressed to see the Jacksonville Jaguars in it as well. Now, Buffalo has decided to bench Tyrod Taylor for the backup. I forgot his name, but I know he scored a touchdown against the Saints this week. So going forward for Buffalo, I'm going to throw this out there. I think Buffalo will be in the hunt this offseason for a quarterback. And to be honest with you, I don't know the contract issues, but I think they should have did this a long time ago. They should have traded for Phillip Rivers, and that would have made them, to me, a better football team. Phillip Rivers would have had, to me, a little better system, with offense, especially working with LaShawn McCoy. And now he would have had Kelvin Benjamin and company. And then potentially, the defense not that bad. It's just they don't have good rush defense. But the secondary is pretty decent. I think they would be a whole different. They'll they're 5-4. They'll beat the Jets. They'll at least be 6-3 if they had them. But we don't know how it's going to work out. We'll get into them after, probably on Friday, when we get into going into the weekend report of this podcast. And we're going to go from there. Well, guys, I got to get out of here. I got work in about a couple of minutes. I was a little behind today, but